felt like they weren't really put to the test when they were playing up against Archon.
Do you guys feel that works in their favor though? Like they have a lot of footage on Alliance, but Alliance have very limited footage on EHOME.
Yeah, they didn't really have to show anything, but at the same time, I think these two teams pretty much know what each other are going to do. If anyone is less, is more difficult to read, it's probably Alliance. They might have more tricks up their sleeve. I feel like EHOME has been pretty defined so far in what they do, and this first pick Lone Druid is no exception to that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And I mean, it's a best of one. I don't really think either team thought they were going to be in the situation this early on in the tournament. I mean, I think a lot of us had two of these three teams probably in our top three, or top five maybe, but it's definitely going to be a little bit rough.
Reserve time.
Any expected picks to see come out from Alliance that you haven't seen before? Or are we going to see another Naga pop out from them?
Alliances turn to
Oh, with the Wisp opening, it's see a little bit of the Alliance of old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alliance not been favoring the Wisp as much, like yesterday against Liquid, for example, but classic Alliance, this was them. This hero defined them and their playstyle as well as just them as a team, going back to TI3.
Yeah, they haven't been favoring the Phoenix too much, have they? A lot of teams have been running that support capacity Phoenix against Lone Druid, but they're just going to go with the ENG.
EHOME's turn to pick.
That yesterday was a kind of bread and butter pick for them, putting Ake onto this when he couldn't get the Chen. We're seeing a lot of teams use it as a backup, well, use it as the preferred jungler over the Chen in a lot of situations.
Don't you feel perhaps that Alliance is giving a lot away by having the IO Enchantress pick up the first two? Gives a bit away in terms of how aggressive they might be with their lanes. Gives EHOME time to prepare against that.
I think any opening with an Enchantress is fine, because anytime you could say you're picking potentially a weak laning phase by picking a Wisp, you could easily argue that Enchantress is strong enough to the point where a couple of good rotations and a gankable mid lane or a gankable safe lane, and you're pretty much in good shape. You just need to make sure that the Enchantress can control the tempo, and Ake is very good at that.
But it also suggests, to me, it's kind of interesting to read into, because yesterday it was always like, let's get the Beastmaster in the first stage when we don't have the Nature's Prophet, the Lone Druid. So it's a best of one. You've got to imagine Alliance leaving Lone Druid in the pool. You guys kind of mentioned that and definitely agree. You know what EHOME's going to do. You know they're going to first pick Lone Druid. And the fact that Alliance don't respond with Beastmaster makes me think there's a different hero they want for Bulldog. Whether it's something like the Weaver Drow strat we've seen before. For a best of one, Alliance have to have a ideal scenario for their draft to reach. Like, we're going to try and bait EHOME into picking such and such heroes, Lone Druid being the first one, and then we're going to counter it and do this to beat it. So that to me is what this is saying from Alliance's own thing.
I think they actually give Bulldog more pick priority, as in they like to pick his hero a little bit later into the draft and seeing a Lone Druid first. It only gives away the fact that they have the potential to push, and Lone Druid can pretty much lane in any situation, right? So I think giving him not necessarily the favorable hero matchup, but something that can deal with potentially 5-man, which a lot of teams have been favoring as of late, is probably the better option, because we saw what Weaver did earlier against the push strat. It just flops, it doesn't really do that much, so depends on what the other matchups are.
This Darkseer is actually a curveball from EHOME. They've almost always run the Lone Druid going back to MDL in the offlane for Old 11, but picking up the Darkseer throws the Lone Druid either mid or safe lane and puts Old 11 onto this Darkseer.
They run bounty, right?
They do.
For EHOME?
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's probably a bounty ban there.
10 seconds remaining.
We also should disregard the option. This is something that we see very rarely. In the past, it was somewhat popular sometimes. You can put the Darkseer mid. Like, it's not out of the question. That hero stands against pretty much everything and just free farms. Even some of the stronger lane dominators can't completely shut down a DS, but
I think that's a huge if for a best of one.
Yes, absolutely.
Old Chicken doesn't strike me as a player who's going to be like, yeah, put me on the Darkseer mid. Like, I mean, he's the drafter and stuff, so I just don't. I would be shocked if they did that.
I think
how about counter greeting the Ench and just jungling it?
Jungling a Darkseer.
Yeah, from the start.
You would have a super fast mech if you did that.
He is actually pretty good at it. The problem is it leaves a lot of space for Enchantress to move, but it really depends on what they put in the other lanes. If you have a Lone Druid off lane, that already draws attention to itself. Alliance probably have to keep one support there, and then maybe this is EHOME's way of preparing at least for that possible scenario. I don't think it's out of the question.
I feel like they wanted to they want to play around. Their key timing is going to be the Lone Druid Radiance, and putting him in the offlane, they were worried about some kind of IO aggressive dual lane.
Yes.
Like an IO CK comes out, Lone Druid's not going to have a good Radiance timing unless you really create tons of space for him, and that's not what CTY does. CTY wants to farm and be the carry himself. So if anything, it just suggests they're not going to give Old 11. They weren't willing to give Old 11 a lot of space this game.
I think with the way that EHOME have actually opened this draft up, it feels to me like they could easily go for something like Night Stalker, because in the past Alliance have a tendency to gravitate towards Batrider, in situations where the other team picks Lone Druid, because it's a good way to stop the slow siege, and you can just go for a quick lasso, you get a kill, and then that. I mean, even lasso to relocate is a very potent combination as well. So maybe they could go back for the NS, run it in support, have the Darkseer be greedy like Synderen said. I mean, that's pretty greedy, but so is Wisp Enchantress.
This is one of the first teams we're seeing not like target bans towards S4. Normally you see the Puck and the Bat banned out in that second stage if his hero is not picked up, but...
I don't know if Puck is so strong against Lone Druid Darkseer opening, though. I feel like those particular heroes, when you have an early mech buyer, Puck's initiation doesn't quite feel as good unless you have follow-up for it, and they haven't obviously picked much yet, so...
EHOME
not great here.
leaves a Tiny in the pool, one of the common pairs with the IO. They ban out the Sven and the CK. What makes them prioritize those two over the Tiny?
More tempo controllers for Loda. The Tiny probably fits more. Oh, they all three of them kind of fit the carry role, but they're the more kind of early aggression. They dominate the lanes a bit more. They normally give Bulldog more farm as far as the overall strategy for Alliance goes. So to me, it's more like the player and playstyle preference. That's why.
I also think that Tiny is worse against Lone Druid than either of those heroes. Like, Sven has much higher sustain damage. I don't think the burst of Tiny is as relevant against a hero like Lone Druid as Sven being able to pop God Strength, get like one lucky crit, and you can like two-shot the bear, or the CK Phantasm, you can instantly kill even like the tankiest of heroes. So I think, like you mentioned, the tempo is really important, but also the fact that I think their scaling against Lone Druid in particular is better. Like, also Warcry can't discount that.
I think the Beastmaster pick for Bulldog suddenly becomes a lot more appealing because the Tiny benefits a lot from the attack speed, and you generally look at this and think, yeah, Alliance need some map control as well as something to set up for the relocate ganks, something to be the initiator for the IO Tiny. So while they didn't pick it in the first stage, it still looks like a pretty strong pick for them.
Yesterday, Alliance went for a lot of aggression lanes. They went for the aggression dual lane with an Enchantress also in the enemy jungle, helping out on that off lane. Is that going to be something that we're going to see here too? Is there an option for it?
You'd need to find a good matchup to 1v1 the Darkseer then. Yesterday they were doing that when Bulldog had a Beastmaster versus Nature's Prophet 1v1 matchup, which is like fine for Beastmaster.
I think it's okay because EHOME only have one real dedicated pusher right now. And
Can't EHOME just put Lone Druid mid though, if they're worried about an aggressive lane and just put like a tempo? Then they just do like a tempo controller safe lane, like you get, I don't know, or Bane plus some combo stunner like Queen of Pain.
Yeah, even Invoker, like X-Sword Invoker safe lane is good.
There's to me like tons of hero that could just fit into a safe lane role that don't care if they get aggro lane.
This does no, they can't do that.
That's the Beastmaster.
Yeah.
I was considering if there was an opening for Alliance to try for something like an Abaddon Weaver again, because Abaddon is so good against Bane, and it's actually decent against Lone too, but I don't think they can fit Abaddon into their draft, and if they pick it, it's a definite Weaver ban in the second, or in the last phase.
And I think the Drow Ranger pick really enabled the Weaver that game as well, like having the bonus damage.
It does a lot, that's for sure.
I think I need that app on my tablet. Looks cool.
10 seconds.
So going into the series, I said that I thought Alliance had more tricks up their sleeve, but it's EHOME that we're seeing bringing some surprising picks. The first phase Darkseer, I think the Bane is also not something we've seen them run that much as of late. It's like a situational pick at best for them. I'm wondering if they're going to go even further with that and get another one of their old heroes, like, for example, look towards something like an Undying and then try to push around the Tombstone with their Lone Druid. Decay, obviously great against the IO Tiny. There's even a third strength hero on Beastmaster you could use it against and play that kind of game.
How do you feel? Oh, never mind.
Oh boy.
Okay, alright.
This is good though.
Very, yeah, I agree. I think it's very good.
Answer greed with greed, and more greed.
I mean, the thing is, if you like in this situation, you could actually rush Blanker BKB. Like you don't actually have to build mech if you have the Darkseer offlane. So I think with only having one reliable way to stop Black Hole, I suppose you could toss, but it's really hard to do that. I think it's actually really solid. Like what can they do against Enigma at this point?
And the Enchantress, you can try and camp the Enchantress in that enemy jungle, but you expose yourself to rotations.
Yeah, it's really hard to pressure though, because now it's like, if Alliance don't have a successful early game with their Ench, the Enigma's getting so much more out of the jungle. Their team fight is also much better now, just because of the addition of Enigma in the first place. And they also have good push because they have Lone Druid. So I think EHOME's draft is actually very solid right now.
Which hero can fix that issue that has like disable? Probably is 4 hero.
I still think that's okay, just because they have Beastmaster.
How about a Puck?
Puck is okay, but Puck is putting a lot into the Tiny and saying, if you don't carry this game, we got big problems. Because you're going to lack damage if you pick Puck and you can't, like, end the game at a certain point.
The one thing they sometimes do when they have the Beastmaster is get a bit more of a carry-oriented mid for S4 mid, because it's not like the Beastmaster doesn't do as much with farm as the Lone Druid or the Nature's Prophet, so that's often when you'll see S4 on like a Queen of Pain mid, just because he needs to kind of carry more weight as far as the
they're
overall
scared of
damage
the Puck.
output.
Okay.
Alliance's turn to pick.
I mean, it is an Alliance thing to do to pick Puck. I think when they showed the Puck Silencer draft yesterday, they say they're not afraid to put a lot on tempo and just say that we need to control the game or we're kind of going to have a lineup problem. And I feel like Tiny late game is nothing to be underestimated. EHOME don't really have the greatest mobility with their draft, so they have some methods they can play around, like Beastmaster Vision with relocates is always strong. But I still feel like Bat is the best fit now, especially with the Puck being banned.
10 seconds remaining.
They could just go YOLO and Queen like they did yesterday.
Yeah, I think Queen's still quite good, because
5 seconds.
they have the initiation from the Beastmaster. If anything, like you go Bat and Beastmaster, you've got these two good initiators, but all your damage, your fallout damage is tiny. Like, if you're doing that, you need to give a lot of farm priority to the Enchantress almost, just so you can scale.
It will be the Batrider. Another one of Alliance go-to picks for S4.
What do EHOME want? It really depends where they're sending the Lone Druid, if he's going to be in the mid lane, or if they're looking for
I think
a mid lane
Crosswex and Volker would be so good for them right now. You can control the tempo of the game so easily. Like
Alacrity on Bear is
yeah, Alacrity or Tornado EMP. Like you can build Book. You have so many options. With
I really like Safe Lane Legion this game.
Legion for EHOME, yeah.
I think it's very good. You can purge Lasso, you can purge Roar, it's good with the Bear. Just naturally has a good lane against the Beastmaster. Alright, never mind. I mean, I have no idea what to call for EHOME, because they're just drafting completely different stuff than they have all tournament.
It's still good though. I like it.
It's
I mean, it's very hard to relocate
never
Gank and Ember. You have to commit a lot of resources to kill this hero. And I feel, again, like it's another one of those heroes that makes it so Alliance are going to feel a ton of pressure this game. It's like we need to continually kill. We need to push. We need to get Roshan. There's definitely a lot that Alliance need to accomplish in this early game.
I can still see it being a difficult Ember game, because you've got Bat Lasso as well as Beastmaster Roar, and those are long enough disables that the relocating can finish off an Ember Spirit.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't have good defensive tools for him. They don't have good vision. There's no Night Stalker Beastmaster, so it's going to be hard to see those ganks coming.
Which one of these two teams is gonna move forward to round 3 of the lower brackets and go into the best of 3s, Synderen?
10 seconds remaining.
I think I'm gonna go with EHOME. It looks like
5 seconds.
similar to EG against Fnatic, that they've just prepared something against Alliance, and if they're confident, then Alliance are showing standard stuff.
I'm going to agree with Synderen. I actually like EHOME's lineup a little bit more.
Okay. Then we're gonna find out what Capitalist and Blitz think of this draft. It is time to head over to the arena where Cap and Blitz are here for the elimination match between EHOME and Alliance.
everything's come together. You Fast and the Furious style reunion. You couldn't have built a better storyline than this. It's almost like I
think they're playing the song in the background inside their booth right now?
Man, when me and EGM were hanging out at TeamSpeak, we just kept playing that song. You know, the Wiz Khalifa, "See You Again." We just
okay. So if this is Fast and Furious, then who's who?
Loda is definitely Vin Diesel.
Okay, I agree with that. Is S4 Paul Walker then?
No, I think EGM is.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure S4 is one of the stars, the biggest stars of Alliance. And he did come back from Secret.
Yeah,
One last ride.
One last ride.
Is
I'm
EGM
sure,
Luda?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure EGM's Luda then. Luda. No, but he was so happy about being back. I couldn't stop laughing. Like when he first told me, it was, you know, he told me before, and we just couldn't stop laughing. It was so good. I was like, just make it, you know, in contract that you're not gonna get kicked again or something.
Shortly before TI.
They're a good group of friends though. That's the one thing. Is that when I was at Liquid's boot camp, that was the other extreme. Like I feel in some ways EG is like the extreme when it comes to being professional and doing your job, which is very admirable that 5 guys can just, you know, put aside their egos and say, this is our job and not a hobby anymore. Just a baby. Hype.
Baby hype.
Yeah. Man, Arteezy's really grown up.
It's nice that he brought his family here.
Yeah. But, what was I gonna say? I just lost my train of thought.
I don't know.
I forgot. Oh,
dumb
and then
joke just...
Alliance is on the other side of things, where they're just
then they're just such a family.
Yeah, it's like they go out together, you know. I saw pictures of them.
Okay, now let me ask, where's Liquid on that scale then?
Where's Liquid?
The EG Alliance scale, where does Liquid fall?
We're probably closer to the Alliance side. Everybody gets along really well. They're good guys. You know, you've got your class clown, Bulba, our coach.
You're not just saying that because your entire job is to actually make sure that they have a good time with each other, right?
No.
Because if they weren't like that, that would be all on you.
I think there's like 2 approaches to a team. It's either you have to go like, you have to lean one way or another from a team. You either have to all like each other, or you have to learn how to treat it like it's your job and not just your hobby. But for those guys, they're all really good guys, and they all get along. They're pretty genial.
Okay. I actually want to go back to the Alliance lanes, because I forgot we have a Batrider. So, is this Tiny Wisp actually still mid? They put Batrider on top?
Man, they have a lot of inside jokes.
They really do.
Yeah, but the
I
game
wish
is
we
about
were
to
that
start.
good.
We're good.
Hype. We don't have to stall anymore.
Who said I was stalling, dude?
Anytime you pull out Fast and Furious, I know you're stalling. See? The audience loved that joke. Alright guys, welcome back. Alliance versus EHOME. We're finally getting into our matchup. This is definitely going to be a very hype match indeed. CTY already starting things off, battling it out with Roshan apparently, as he thought that was going to be a good idea. And he gets bashed up too. So already down to half HP, not a great start. Old 11 is going to be playing the Lone Druid, so they actually swap things around. Old Chicken stays on the Ember Spirit though.
That is, did you see the stat too? This is CTY's first competitive game as Darkseer. And I said it before, they put a lot on this guy, and to kind of trade his role, not make him the kind of like the counter initiation playmaker like we're so used to him seeing.
Yep.
That takes a lot of guts.
It certainly does. Last time I saw that kind of guts was when Fnatic switched up Mushi and had him fall back to that support role for their final elimination game. We saw how that really went for them.
Yeah, I was so surprised. I don't think you should just do that and change your winning formula, but EHOME, they're going to stick with it as it's a best of one. Anything can happen.
Alright, so S4 is going to be in the top lane. We are going to have our dual lane of EGM and Loda mid as the Tiny Wiz combination. Of course, Ake could be roaming around a little bit, but most likely he's going to be spending more time in the bottom lane with Admiral Bulldog. I guess it kind of depends on what the matchup is. They are going to be putting Old Chicken in the mid lane with Kaka, so a dual lane to match up the Tiny Wiz. Lonham is going to be jungling. They have a bottom lane CTY, so safe lane Darkseer matched up against Admiral Bulldog's Beastmaster. This feels pretty favorable. And then Old 11 matched up against S4. I guess this is pretty good as well. Darkseer How does he do against Batrider? Are they just trying to avoid that matchup?
Yeah, I think so. I think Darkseer does okay against everybody, but he does especially good against melee heroes. This entire tournament, well, it hasn't been very many games, but I've seen Bulldog get favorable matchups, and
the pulls are all happening in this top lane right now as CTY is actually trying to, or excuse me, not CTY, Old 11 is trying to keep this creep wave in favor to him. S4 is doing something similar. Meanwhile, Ake's already smoked up and he's actually made his way. I'm not sure where that smoke was actually leading, but he had a Hellbear Smasher already.
I think he just wanted to avoid this top ward and try to sneak around on this top lane. Maybe they could set up something on Old 11 or even this mid lane, and it's going to be the Ember and Bane mid, which I guess is the alternative, but kind of would have liked to see the other lane here, because I feel like the Ember's going to kind of struggle in this lane, even with help from the Bane.
The wraparound here, Kaka, he is, oh, the Wisp! He's actually going to jump onto the Hellbear Smasher, trying to get at that extra bit of movement speed to land the clap, but it doesn't happen. Kaka will be able to get away, and now Alliance are in deep right now with a whole entire army of Eidolons battling it out. Of course, Enchantress has her own item. That is going to be able to battle it out and actually get all of these Eidolons. That's a lot of free gold there for Alliance as they take heavy control of this tier 1 tower. The whole entire creep wave beating it down. It's already down to half HP.
Oh, Kaka's going to be sent back to base pretty soon. He's going to go for one brain sap, but the first level of Flame Guard used by Old Chicken, this isn't strong enough for him to repel, but this is a lot of damage done to the mid tower, and as we know, mid tower, most valuable resource in the early game for both teams. That's why you'll see everybody come over to try to contest it. Even the Enigma, who can't really do anything, is just kind of there to state his presence.
Yeah, especially when you have a juggler like the Enigma, right, who does oftentimes spend more time in the jungle than most others, like Shen and Enchantress. You want to be able to have the jungle as a safe resource, and if they can actually take away this middle tier 1, that'll kind of open up ganking opportunities to the jungle a little bit more.
Yeah, and what I thought would have been a really favorable lane.
Oh, okay, he's going to sneak out, go for the pop, he's going to be able to get it too. Old Chicken, he's going to get double clapped. Oh my god! He just gets double clapped and bursted down by Ake for the first blood. Old Chicken gets real tilted and goes and suicides Ake.
Yeah, and Kaka's going to be the next target, but Ake shouldn't have enough of this as Loda's going to make his way forward, but the main target is this tower. That was so much that Ake just did for Alliances. The courier, okay, that tilts you, but then the first blood, Old Chicken immediately going to pop the Flame Guard as Loda's going to get gone.
Eidolons are doing a lot of work. They will be able to kill. Oh, Jesus, that crowd is so excited. They get a return kill, manage to take out Loda. Meanwhile, top lane, Old 11's been battling it out with S4. It seems to be going pretty well for him. He's actually 16-4 compared to the 14-2. Of course, he's got to be a bit careful of the Enchantress rotating across. Kaka's going to make sure to actually get some vision, actually gets enough experience to pop his level 3. And the higher level of Brain Sap will help in all this battling out that's going in the mid lane.
Yeah, CTY battling pretty even against this Beastmaster bottom, but even then I feel like Admiral Bulldog has done a really good job.
He's going to have to use the Brain Sap here, but he is going to be dropping quite low. The Dark Troll Summoner holding him in place long enough. Kaka actually uses sleep, but Ake wakes himself up with a Troll and will be able to finish off Kaka for the kill.
They're going to get this top rune 2 secured for S4. He's going to pick up the haste, but this Enchantress doing a lot more than it did yesterday. Is they're just abusing the hell out of this mid lane. And meanwhile at bottom, Old Chicken's going to go for the bounty rune, but doesn't have his boots available. Does pick up the level 5 though, at a pretty decent time. So this mid lane, although they have got a kill on Loda, still sort of even-ish.
And the bottom lane's actually going pretty damn well for Admiral Bulldog. Respectable 25-5 CS against a Darkseer. He's doing a little bit of hard cam pulling in order to increase his CS and just kind of limiting the Darkseer as much as he can.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is that CTY can't really ferry out more regen to himself, and he's not really willing to trade against the boar plus the inner beast hits. And Bulldog just keeps pushing the wave in with his inner beast and then dragging the side wave and constantly denying creeps from CTY.
Yeah, I really like this choice. No level of Wild Axes, just getting that extra bit of inner beast levels early on.
Yeah, and because he's able to actually use his courier, He's got quite a lot of regen, and CTY, you see he's got the bottle and the clarity queued up.
Oh, he's actually going to go for CTY here. The surge is up. Admiral Bulldog is going to wait it out. Then gets the roar, and CTY will end up falling here. Admiral Bulldog didn't even need the help of S4, who had a haste rune, and it's going to look for a secondary kill as he starts heading towards the middle lane.
Yeah, Bulldog's just gone insane in this game so far. 29 CS against the Darkseer, and he picks up what was more or less a solo kill. S4 being there was more for morale, and they're going to converge on this mid lane as S4 immediately going to jump on a Kaka, looks like.
He starts flying over him nice and early. They do manage to get the stun out. Loda's actually in very deep danger. He ends up going down. Now the sleep on S4. He actually has no more haste rune. They can wait this one out, perhaps get a secondary chains before S4 gets away. He's flying over the cliffs, trying to get up. Couple more seconds. It will fall to the ground now. And old Chicken, he's got his level 6. He's going to be able to catch up to S4. EHOME have S4 surrounded. The flame break back, but to get the chains. S4 goes down 3-3 now.
And Alliance thought that was going to be a free setup, but so close to the Flaming Lasso, I almost feel like it would have been worth it for S4 to wait on it and grab it at that bottom lane, but opts not to, and it cost them so much right there as they even lose Loda, and they can't afford to lose cores this early into the game, especially when you've got a control setup and Ake's already done so much for you in this lane.
Kaka refills the bottle and passes over a couple charges for free to Old Chicken, as he was dropping a bit low to the harassment of the Tiny. Old 11 looking to continue his perfect winning spree he's had so far in this tournament. Bottom lane, the Bulldog, they're going to go ahead and blow that black hole. Bulldog will fall. That is a lot of hate for a man that it was doing very well for himself in the off lane.
Yeah, and he's the top net worth in the game, but the next 4 follow up all EHOME, and you can hear the crowd just go insane right now.
It was a bad start for EHOME, but they've managed to kind of claw their way back into a decent laning phase.
Yeah, even with all of the pickups so far, just because of how good the laning stage went, Alliance are still ahead in net worth. But soon that'll all change as at top. S4 gets rooted, but Ake's right here just in case anything goes wrong.
And Old 11 is beginning to build into that Midas too. They would like to be able to slow that down, but S4 by himself can't really deal with it. And the Enchantress rotations haven't worked out just yet, but he's got a Satyr Banisher, and this could be big. The slow of that is going to be pretty intolerable for Old 11. Bounce back by the Flame Break. He gets a perfect scare. Is that going to be enough for Old 11 to escape? It is. He will now have some reinforcements. Old Chicken's not going to pursue though. Decides not to try and indulge more of that aggressive behavior for EHOME at times. Decides to back away and just make sure that Old 11 stays alive.
Almost felt like it would have been worth it if CTY had a TP. He had the Soul Ring up too, but...
Oh, another haste rune. What is happening? S4. He's going to be able to turn on this fight. This could be great. Loda, he doesn't actually have that much mana, which is a bit concerning. The Spirit Bear is here. The Savage Roar is coming back, so Alliance can't really pursue.
Nobody really has mana.
He gets rooted. He's got the haste, but it doesn't matter. Old 11 gets the perfect timings on those roots.
That is so upsetting if you're S4. Like, you can't even believe that that just happened. EHOME weren't even really committing to that. Their Bane didn't even have mana or any levels. Their Enigma was just like, oh, well, I'll just send the Eidolons down here, see what happens, and insta-roots him. That's able to pick up the kill, and how many games have we seen S4 this under-farmed?
Yeah, it's been a rough start for him as he hasn't actually been able to do that well against the Lone Druid. Old 11 has been doing a fantastic job as the LD to push him back time and time again.
They need this gank to work out, Cap, but CTY hiding himself on the map because both the heroes showed mid, and Lanham is on the other side of the map, but CTY might get caught on anyway.
Is still going to be able to come into play, though. CTY, he already blew his surge too, so there's no hope. They bring him back straight into the roar from Admiral Bulldog, and that will complete Necronomicon #1 for him.
Yeah, and I think they're going to push out this bottom lane. This is something that CTY saw coming. He is a safe lane player, so he knows that at some point the safe lane isn't safe anymore. They're going to invade that and try to take control of your jungle and this bottom tower. The next step for Alliance should be to try to get some map control with the Wisp ulti and try to take down that mid one, but EHOME is going to send somebody down here. That means they should send somebody else as well if they want to absolutely secure that this stays.
S4 up to 1k gold now. He needs another successful gank if he really wants to speed up that Blink Dagger, because he has no stacks to fall back on. We need to talk about that. Loda and EGM were clearing through stacks as the Tiny Wisp earlier, which is great. Speeds up the Tiny's farm, can get that Blink Dagger a bit faster, but it does mean Are they gonna go for it? Ake. It's kind of tough to kill. Oh, the back line's mid! EGM almost dies there. They start threatening Ake at the top lane as well. Ake just puts himself in the jungle though. EHOME are not gonna go for a full dive.
Yeah, EHOME just want to do the same thing as Alliance did, take control of this enemy safe lane. CTY is going to get harassed down pretty low, but nowhere near enough for a kill. As S4's rotated up here too, he does have the Flaming Lasso available. And with CTY backing, this might actually be an opportunity if he's patient.
TP's into mid lane. Loda's going to be joined by EGM. Not going to try and go into Lanham though. They've actually got a mech on him. So he's just not going to be a hero they can easily burst down.
Even going to get the catapult kill, but in mid, Loda's just going to throw out the zoning stun, farm a bit of creeps. So they're just going to poke back and forth at each other as Old 11 continues to pick up some farm as he's already got the Midas, but...
Wow, second lowest that it's ever been on Batrider.
Yeah.
That is pretty rough for S4.
I think a lot of people just assume because of the type of role that S4 plays that he's often going to have like low net worth, but that's almost always wrong. S4 is always up there when it comes to net worth, keeps up really well. That's kind of what makes him strong as an initiator because of his strong lane presence, but in this game he's just been shut out of so many ganks.
Old Chicken actually rotating from bottom lane to mid now. Are they going to try and take this tower? Seems a little awkward, but maybe just enough to force rotations. The bear at the top lane is going to be resummoned by Old 11 just in time before it goes down. CTY will actually rotate bottom now that Old Chicken is left. Try and stop that push, but Admiral Bulldog is going to be able to take the kill. The relocate comes in, but once again, Admiral Bulldog can do it solo.
He's been such a bright spot for them this entire tournament. His Beastmaster, even against Liquid, was quite frequently the top net worth.
That was a relocate though. They know that nobody's mid. They're going to smoke up from mid, rotate into the jungle. They're going to be able to find Ake. Ake already gets off the heal though, and they don't have quite enough burst damage. It's really tough for them to eat through these HP points. They used the extra bit of burst damage. Old Chicken used every single remnant. They used the sleep now, but Ake gets woken up. They will finally be able to surround him and should be able to bring him down. The Fairy Fire won't be enough, but it took so long. Ake just drew so much attention. Look what's happening at the bottom lane. The tier 2 is going to fall.
That is such a good trade for Alliance, and now this opens up the map for them. And this is the vaunted split push that you see. Alliance, what sets us up so well is there's no such thing as a good trade against Alliance. They're always willing to eke out a little bit more than you is. If Bulldog goes for the build he did yesterday, this should be the blink before he gets the Necro 3. That'd be such a good setup for them, and that might actually be how they set up onto this Lone Druid. And yeah, it's going to be the blink dagger again. At the same time, S4 picks up his. This might be the timing that Alliance were waiting for.
CTY currently circling the Roshan pit, knowing that that is a potential opening for Alliance now that they've taken so much map control of the bottom half of the map.
Weird thing is, the ward vision is almost entirely in EHOME's favor, even with that bottom tower taken out, relying heavily on the Hawk.
Now it looks like Loda's going to be going straight for that more carry style build with the tread, Strongs with endurance, and I'm presuming and Ags coming up. What is the difference here? Why is a Blink Dagger not really needed? Do you just have so many initiators between Bat and Beast, especially with the way Bulldog plays it, that you don't need it?
They need damage more than initiation at this point, Cap.
Okay.
Like, you've got Bulldog as your setup right now. Is they're just going to use the Hawk constantly to scout around. His Blink Dagger is enough too. Maybe if you went for the Necro 3, you'd reconsider, but with S4 backing you up too, not really too concerned about how you're going to start these fights.
Bulldog doing a really good job of rotating those Hawks around in the jungle. Does see the rotation from Kaka and will be able to back out. As if he was caught, that was going to be a Fiend's Grip. EGM gets an Invis rune at the top lane. That'll be a nice battle rune for the Swiss to fall back on.
Right now, I'm kind of worried for Alliance just because this Lone Druid is getting really reliable farm. Nobody's really disrupted him too much. Just 1-0-0 so far in this game. And the ace of this game really favors EHOME. Like we talked about, they've got these two melee cores. Alliance only has this Tiny to work with. And Loda just doesn't have enough farm really to match those two. Like, the Ember is naturally supposed to be behind a little bit.
They see that EHOME are kind of centering up in the bottom lane, so they're going to go for the push at top lane with the Tiny Wisp, but of course they can relocate and fight bottom. But that being said, EHOME maybe actually be one step ahead. They're going to be able to get to sleep onto Loda. EGM is going to have to provide a save here. Can Kaka actually stop this in time? The Bean Script being used. Oh no, the relocate! That is what you were afraid of if you were the Bane. Committing those kind of disables and having the relocate completely interrupted the Spirit Bear in the mid lane. is going to be able to survive once again. Relocate back, and they'll take EGM's life. Meanwhile, bottom lane, though, CTY ends up going down to the Beastmaster.
CTY is just getting abused right now by Bulldog. Bulldog is pulling off so much farm right now for his team. That's
So
a
much
Necro
for so much for a favorable matchup.
I mean, I thought the Darkseer would be okay, but Bulldog has gotten a lot more out of this than he should have. They've opened up so much control in this bottom area. They don't even have a ward down. It's actually EHOME that set up vision here. It's just this Hawk that they're primarily relying on. And Ake, as I say that, just gets that ward down right in front of the Hawk. As they're going to smoke. Or did they? Nope.
No, they just
walk
rotate on through. Run to the Boar army.
This mid lane, Loda just continues to farm, wants to try to close that gap, but really impressed by Bulldog. No Midas on him, but still even ahead of the Lone Druid.
Yeah. Speaking of Lone Druid, he can pick up his relic right now. As he also gets the bounty rune, sneaks it away from the Wisp Tiny.
Absolutely should get his relic right now, and Blink Dagger actually going to be the pickup choice for Lana M.
Is this, why isn't this a BKB? Just because of the Beastmaster?
I think there's so much that cancels you anyways. But it'd be sort of worth it, right? If you was to pop the Blink BKB and just go on the Beastmaster and hope that you pop one of the BKB breaking spells on you.
Yeah, and then it would mean either the Ember Spirit or the Lone Druid is going to be free to move around, as you can kind of presume the last is going to go for one of them.
Yeah, exactly. XP lead and net worth lead pretty even, as Alliance have a very slight edge in the net worth, but XP is something you look for, especially for your two supports.
Again, EHOME. They pose themselves at that bottom lane for a potential push, but are never really committing. In fact, Beastmaster wants to be able to go for the pickoff. They have the relocate ready to go. Admiral Bulldog, he can blink in right now and charge. Oh, Ember Spirit. Oh, all chicken missed out on that Sleight of Fist chains combination. Thought he could actually go for Bulldog.
Alliance is going to know, though, that they have a ward right there. They're not 100% sure where, but there's no way that the Ember Spirit goes to that play without vision.
And look how many counter wards they have set up in this jungle. EHOME, they're just trying to control their jungle so much, but unfortunately they miss out on this ward from Alliance. They have killed a couple of Hawks, though, because of that vision.
Still, Old 11 using all the space that his team is creating for him, kind of taking the role that CTY normally does for this team.
He's so close to that Radiance too. He cannot afford to die to the Tiny Wisp combination at this point. Don't think he can though.
CTY picks up the Blink Dagger, and at bottom, their setup is 4.
Yeah, they will finally be able to take this. The double Blink combo. Vacuum into a black hole. Admiral Bulldog is going to try and jump. Oh, the interruption there from Old Chicken actually stops Admiral Bulldog from getting out the roar. He gets it now into CTY, but Old Chicken comes right off back for some revenge. Almost saves CTY, but it's not quite enough. Loda and EGM, they're here. They're going to go for EGM first. He's down to Loda, but it's still not enough. The Bane will actually get popped now by the Enchantress, and now they pick up Old Chicken. They split themselves a little bit. They send Loda back, but it doesn't matter. S4 and Ake are going to be more than enough power. Now they're actually going to try and fight at the top lane. Old 11, though, is tanky as all hell. I can't actually see them being able to tank the Lone Druid.
Yeah, if anything, the Lone Druid is going to run at EGM, as he's just going to back up, and Alliance are going to be so satisfied for that 4-for-1 trade. It looks so good for EHOME at the start of the fight, but the Beastmaster just gets his roar off in time, and the initiation from Loda instantly forces EHOME back.
Yeah, and there was no black hole. I really felt like the Enigma kind of jumped the gun there and put himself too far forward. They could have responded to that relocate with an instant black hole if they control Admiral Bulldog and almost took him out like they did. That fight really shouldn't have been a problem.
No, he just committed his positioning. He traded his positioning for trying to burst down Bulldog almost immediately.
Right.
Otherwise, he would have just black holed on the ground, but they popped the Erd on him so that he couldn't get the counter initiation, and S4 stayed right on top of him with the Firefly, making sure that even if he black holes, he dies. And this is Alliance's patented smoke. This is the map control. We can even go for the Roshan if we want. They're immediately going to run in here. EHOME, they're circling the area. They know this is a possibility, but they don't have the wall of replica up. They do have the hole, and Old 11 has the Radiance. This might be a fight that they still want to take even without the wall, but they've got to hurry if they want to do it.
Yeah, 4-man smoke is not going to be there in time. EHOME are just a bit too slow to realize what's going on right now. Right as they're about to realize it, Roshan does end up going down, and the Aegis is picked up by Loda.
Yeah, EHOME was just a little bit too tentative there, Cap. You notice that they smoked around, thinking that maybe Alliance was waiting for the counter wrap around, They just thought 2 steps ahead. They knew something was afoot though, because nobody was defending this mid tower from the Bear plus the Eidolons, but suspicion's not confirmed as
No
EHOME.
surprise whatsoever that Bulldog is setting up records.
Yeah. He's got the Necro 3-2?
Yeah.
That's insane.
What do you think for next item for him though? Because the way he's farming, he's gonna get something else.
Thinks he picks up a gem at some point. Lotus Orb is pretty good for, or somebody on his team at least. After you get to this point on Beastmaster, you're pretty set. You probably pick up a Vlad's for your team, just so you have some team fight control. Maybe even AC if you kind of want to build him a little bit more core-like and allow your Tiny to scale other ways.
They will be able to take down the tier 2 at bottom lane. The
That's
whole
so hard.
team of EHOME is... they already have the Midnight Pulse that they laid out earlier to try and see these kind of rotations from S4. S4 has managed to sneak himself into that same position. They start picking him out. Lonham, they know.
Radiant structures are fortified.
They
they
should
wanna collapse
most
on this to
definitely know
relocate.
about this. He'll start TPing up to the top lane. Loda has been silenced up, but they managed to get the relocate once again out. So it looks like EHOME will be able to get a clean extraction from that bottom lane and should be able to take the Wisp down, and they also get the deny in the tier 1 tower.
Yeah. EHOME. Oh!
Oh, the hell there!
And he gets out too!
Oh no, Old Chicken, he's gonna be able to chase him down anyway. It was a sneaky play from
EGM's
Alliance.
taking
but
a lot of time, but... Alright, that was cool.
That was a good play. Okay, I saw him earlier, and then I saw him the minimap. He was like gone. I was like, oh, he just gave up on him. But no, he left the Hellbear Smasher. CTY, he gets caught once again. S4 is able to grab him after the surge has been used, and now CTY stuck him on the cliff. Help, team, help! But oh, the vacuum. He doesn't bring in Ake, and they're just going to be able to chip him down slowly but surely until the Flamebreak actually put him closer. Ake finally gets the damage to be able to finish him off, and Ember Spirit just can't make that kind of committal.
Everybody's going to get out now. Out of the jungle is Alliance. Picked up a free kill on CTY, and I mean, CTY's had a rough 0-6 and 5. You haven't felt his impact this entire game. The mech is completed by the Enigma before he can get it, so you don't even have his utility in that end. I almost feel like he needs some sort of stats. Not sure what a Darkseer gets for that. Almost feel like the Blink first wasn't worth it though.
Loda and EGM looking to be able to chase down Lonham. See if they can catch him. Meanwhile, Kaka's actually been spotted out by S4. They're going to try and rotate and kill Kaka. But then they see Old 11 get scared back. EGM starts committing his Shadow Amulet. Doesn't want to be spotted out here. Slowly but surely he's taken down to the Midnight Pulse. Has to tether himself away, but the Radiance Burn is also there. Now to jump in. Old 11 is going to be stunned up. The Black Hole controlling Loda. Old 11, he's not going to be able to get away from this one. Ake just steals too much at him.
They've got to get out.
He's going to be torn apart. EHOME now on full retreat. Old Chicken realizes it's 2. He comes back from whence he came. While Kaka and CTY trying to stay ahead. CTY relocate forward. They're going to be able to catch up to him. Throwing in EGM. Slowing down CTY as the surge runs out. 4 down for EHOME for nothing of Alliance.
EHOME just have to realize their strength is not in taking these mini engagements, because Alliance are almost always going to be there in full force immediately. They've got the Hawk Vision to kind of scout things out for them, so they know the perfect landscape for these fights. Know that the Ember's not going to be there either, who's desperately trying to farm his Battle Fury, and Alliance are just abusing these timings right now. You're really not feeling the net worth of this Lone Druid, whereas on the flip side, Admiral Bulldog is making so much use of this Necro 3 Blink Dagger. Is Alliance might even decide to poke into the high ground, try to force a buyback, but EHOME, they're going to respawn so soon. Can't really do much about this. They're just going to pop the glyph, and Alliance going to poke and prod, but ultimately get out.
They forced a glyph. That's probably good enough for Alliance, as they have time now to back up and get their next round of items. Boots of Travels completed by S4. Admiral Bulldog could actually do something similar here, as he's just rocking the regular old Tranquil boots. We have a Glimmer Cape for EGM, and obviously Loda recently picked up that Hyperstone.
Alliance are just playing at a much faster pace right now than EHOME is. EHOME just doesn't seem like they're prepared to take these engagements that almost immediately turn into 5-mans. They're anticipating Alliance to run these like 2-3-man squads, but the relocate is actually just destroying them.
The Vlad's is almost complete for Old 11. That'll be a pretty significant upgrade in damage and a bit of tankiness for these two.
This Alliance, they're almost always just pinstering around the map, as Loda has the Aegis Bud for not much longer, and he's got the Hyperstone too. So now you've got a really strong physical damage dealer, and because of how much farm Bulldog's been able to get on this map cap, he's almost turned into like a secondary main core.
Which kind of leads us back to what we were talking about. about potential avenues of items for the Beastmaster, and you suggested maybe something like an AC. Should be an interesting way to scale the Beastmaster farther into the late game, as while he's great utility, he doesn't provide damage. That's why you were talking about how
EHOME have to
Loda...
hurry. Like, they've got to get back. Alliance are just going to poke and prod, and I don't think they commit to this high ground, but they're just seeing if EHOME will respond to this. And they do. But Lonam's going to commit.
Stun up. They're actually committing here for Admiral Bulldog, who does get the Glimmer Cape. EGM is holding off the relocate for now, but Old Chicken is completely out of mana. They finally take down Admiral Bulldog, though. Alliance not even attempting a save there.
I think if S4 was a little bit closer, they would have gone for it. He did have the TP available, but didn't really see a chance to help him out as Ake was on the other side of the map. Still, Ake's also treating himself into a pretty big monster.
The 3 and 4 positions are actually out of control for Alliance. He's going to be able to complete an Aghanim Scepter in just 40 gold.
Kaka wishes he has any part of that. He's just rocking that Ring of Regen. Doesn't even really have the levels to back up his hero anymore. Ake's about to pick up an Aghanim Scepter, and EHOME, they've got to worry about this hero at some point. They don't have the best ways to take him down either. We saw in that one chase. Imagine in a 5v5 fight where you can't really ignore the Enchantress, but she's pumping out so much damage that you have to deal with her.
Which is better at this point in time for, well, the answer is Lotus or for CTY, but isn't there something to be considered for Linken's? Just because you bounce back potentially the Primal Roar, wouldn't it be better to completely block it out?
I think it's just better so that the team fight by the top again.
They're going to be able to relocate in, but this is a very dangerous position to be in. Lonam is not actually ready to go. The Blink Dagger isn't up for another 3 seconds. He's going to try and hide himself. Admiral Bulldog doesn't quite see him. Lonam has the opportunity to be able to turn this around and go for the black hole. He goes in, but only catches Lonam. Oh no! This means the Lions will be able to run through this team fight quite easily. They get the double stun. Here comes Old Chicken actually, but immediately controlled up by S4. He takes out the only damage dealer left for EHOME, and once again, Alliance win a huge fight without losing a single member, it seems.
Yeah, and Lonam is just going to take this time to reflect on what went so wrong in this fight as he doesn't have a TP. Everybody this time from EHOME gets wiped out, and again, Cap, they're just not ready for these 5-on-5 fights, and I don't think they should look for them either. EHOME keeps thinking, okay, we'll show 3 as a presence, and maybe Alliance won't be there, but they're right by their tier 2 tower.
Alliance did do a very good job. There had to have been some sort of call that Lonam was going to try and counter-initiate that with the Blink Black Hole, but Alliance kept themselves rather well spread. And even if it was Lonam, only getting 1 in that Black Hole, he probably at max could have only gotten 2.
Yeah. You saw that Alliance for half a second were all grouped up together.
Yeah.
And Lonam saw that and he's like, I'm gonna immediately go in, and Alliance is like, guys, we're grouped up, everybody splits up.
And now Ake's actually, or excuse me, EGM's gonna blow his relocate to be able to provide some extra attack speed to Loda and make sure that they take this melee racks before EHOME had the chance to be able to respond. Kaka's already low. They need a couple more hits and we'll be able to get on the last hit of that relocate out. Beautiful play there from Alliance. Doesn't get any more picture perfect than that.
Yeah, at one point it was just Bulldog at the top of the net worth charts, followed by 3 EHOME heroes, and now it's just all Alliance.
Yeah.
Even the Enchantress is way up there. That's a surprise considering how much she moved around, but Alliance afforded her so much space, and a lot of this just comes down to Bulldog being able to dominate that bottom half of the map so hard. If there's an MVP in this game, almost have to give it to this guy.
Oh, absolutely. The Lotus Sword now complete for the Darkseer. EHOME do have some pretty decent sieging capabilities with now the Battlefield complete on Old Chicken, but the damage just isn't there to truly be able to hold against the Alliance. They're going to need something a bit extra, and well, a lot of that comes down to Lonam, who's got his Blink BKB, but still needs another 50 seconds for the Black Hole.
Yeah, their item timings right now, Cap, just aren't great on EHOME. You've got the Vlad's completed, the Hyperstone just finished right now, but the Bear is meant to be a lot further.
Alliance want to take this fight. They just picked up a double damage on Tiny, and they know the Black Hole is still down, or at least should anyway. S4 shows himself for a second, sees a lot of heroes at EHOME and immediately TP's out, so maybe they won't take that fight.
Yeah, they're just not set up in the best position. Ake doesn't have a TP either, otherwise he would have TP'd to the mid-tier 2 and maybe they go for the collapse. But with that thought available, they're just going to go for the split push at top. As EHOME, they have to jump Old Chicken up there, but he does have the Remnant down. They're trying to get control of this Roshan pit, but EHOME, if they lose this fight, Cap, the game kind of just ends if Alliance gets away with more than 3 heroes.
Yeah, that Roshan is just now coming up. Alliance do know about it. EHOME. They should know, just based on the fact that it was a rather late Roshan, that if Roshan isn't up right now, it'll be 30 seconds.
EHOME is smartly going to go for the smoke before this, maybe try to get one of the initiations off with the Wall of Replica vacuum into the black hole. That's kind of your dream scenario right now. They're not going to get a lot bigger than this, as Alliance have way too much map control, and Old Chicken is just too far behind when it comes to item timings, but they're not even going to smoke for this. They're just going to straight up walk and show that they're 5. And Alliance is pinging out. They're all smoked up, and this might have been a bit of a mistake from EHOME, as now they should smoke. But even then, they've showed themselves as 5.
Sitting here on that high ground, they throw down a counter ward, perhaps in preparation of this smoke, wanting to make sure that Alliance don't see them. Alliance are sitting 5 though on the left-hand side.
They're making sure that they're not under a hawk or anything like that first. They're even bringing the gem over. But Alliance, they're grouped up. They're waiting to flank as soon as EHOME checks for the Roshan.
Hawk sees it, and Old Chicken will finally be able to kill it. Alliance, their smoke does run out here. If they could still find that perfect initiation at this point in time, the game may very well end, and Alliance will move themselves a bit farther in a safer position in this lower bracket as you start going into these best of 3s.
Yeah, Alliance knocking out one of the tournament favorites in a best of 1.
Smoke pops, Old Levin and Old Chicken. They spot out Ake, but do not manage to get the chains combo.
Lotus sticking close to EGM as EHOME are just dancing around. They've now smoked themselves up with their 3 initiators. They want to make sure that they get the perfect jump. They know that they can't really waste this opportunity. The net worth lead already past 10k. XP in a similar situation. You can only mess up these fights so many times before Alliance just pull ahead too much.
Bottom and top lane are pushing out. Alliance will have to deal with that. Emerald Bulldog is going to go for the bottom lane. They do kill the Hawk.
The weird part is that EHOME can't do Roshan fast enough, and they can't do it reliably enough. And so Alliance is just like, okay, you have to stick around that area. We're just going to push in top, force you back, and then as soon as you commit 1 or 2 heroes back, then we'll go for the Roshan instead.
Which is why EHOME then in turn push out the middle lane in order to trade objective for objective, but still be able to maintain close proximity to the Roshan pit.
Yeah, they don't want to give Loda that free Aegis. Not on a hero that's this big right now. It's just a weird position to be in when you're on Radiant, because you're going to send the Ember Spirit, who's meant to deal with this, but he's not quite strong enough to send them back, and the rest of EHOME have to consistently be on the bottom half of this map. And Alliance can just farm things out repeatedly and get even further ahead.
Do you hold on to buyback at this point as the Ember Spirit, or do you complete, if he gets it, gets this far, a Crystallis for some extra damage? Because damage is certainly lacking.
Pretty sure he needs buyback.
Okay.
Especially if Alliance eventually do get the Roshan.
Yeah. And if he's able to lay out a Remnant, perhaps, in some sort of weird Roshan scenario, he can buy back and instantly jump.
Yeah, you've got the Refresh Orb too on Beastmaster right now. Top tower's gonna fall. Alliance, I mean, they just keep pressuring. They're like, you have to commit 2 heroes to defending this. Your Ember Spirit is not enough.
Certainly will not be. As for, he's going to find something here. Kaka is going to be the target. Emerald Bulldog, he's going to be able to pop whatever he wants. He's actually going to blink forward here and look for extra, but EHOME are leaving Kaka behind. They're going to call it a one-off and just let Alliance take the free pick and go for Roshan. EHOME have the opportunity to counter-initiate, but it's going to be a 4 versus 5.
And you got to worry about this top lane pushing out as well, but EGM's just going to TP out, come to the rest of his team. Old Chicken gonna leave one of the remnants near the pit, and the Bear's gonna scout it out. They're so afraid right now, Alliance just taking this free Roshan, that they're devoting so much space to this. But Alliance, again, they're okay with the pace of the game. Like, they have so much map control and vision, they don't have to worry about too much. And because they're dire, they have this inherent advantage in being able to check the Roshan so easily.
Yeah. The BKB is actually complete for Loda if he wants to buy it right now. That's a pretty game-changing item. Ember Spirit does actually commit for an item here, giving away his buyback, but it's for a Blink Dagger rather than a Crystallis.
That's honestly fine. Positioning is good too. I just kind of fear that they won't have enough damage to kill any of the cores.
Yeah, this Lone Druid still not having a huge impact in team fights, really needs to be able to complete that full Assault Cuirass before you can kind of feel some of that single target damage he's able to output.
BKB fully committed as S4 is going to get pushed out by the Bear a little bit, but Alliance, again, they're just getting control of the map right now, trying to see who they can force into this top lane, as it's always going to be Old Chicken. He's trying to hold this off, but I think Alliance at some point will just say, we can probably go for the Roshan after we get control of your jungle.
Even the Enchantress illusions at the top lane, slowing down the push and making sure that Alliance have maximum map control before they go for this Roshan. Bear scouting out inside the Roshan pit to make sure that Alliance aren't doing it just yet. But they have to deal with Loda and EGM. Slowly but surely, these tier 3 towers are going to start falling.
Yeah, and the Ember Spirit does have the Sleight of Fist maxed out, so you can spam this out, but that tower's getting dangerously low capped, and they're gonna have to do something about this. Like, the pace of the game doesn't favor EHOME that much, as Alliance are just trying to open things up, and Bulldog is now situated inside the pit.
What's the play for EHOME to actually stop this push at top lane? Do you do something like, say, commit? It's so hard. They don't have any heroes to really stop the EGM relocate out.
Yeah, S4 is gonna get stunned up as there's like 4 heroes from.
Oh, the Ice Commander's through the roof. This is big. Kaka's gonna be able to commit the beam script. They get the kill. That is a BKB charge used as well, but Alliance, they are gonna trade this one up. They've already got the tier 3 tower at top lane. They need TPs back, and they need them now. CTY comes in, manages to get the vacuum on top. EGM. Oh my God, he's getting it. Oh, the relocate at the last half seconds. He gets Loda back.
They're instantly going to go for the Roshan now too, as Loda makes his way down.
Unbelievable. EGM actually goes right back up to the top lane, but EHOME, they don't actually even worry about trying to kill the Wisp. It was a free kill, but they want to be able to contest the Roshan pit as fast as possible. Alliance aren't even there for it though.
Yeah, EGM's just going to push in this wave, TP himself down, has to keep near his tether target, but...
EHOME, I think they're at a breaking point. They know they have to commit to this because they've got 10 seconds for S4 down. You're not going to find a better opportunity to be able to get some sort of advantage in this game.
Alliance are smoked up. They don't want to give this away for free. They've got the buyback available too on Loda.
Oh, but they see Lana. They see the opportunity to go on. He has the blink. He also has BKB ready to go. BKB pops on Loda. They start going on ult 11. The Lotus Orb tops them back up. Lana pops the BKB, goes for the black hole. Controlling up Loda. Get that this initiation down. EGM has to relocate out. Lana gets torn apart by the impact shot. Ult 11 in the background. Okay, hunting him down, but Loda's already dead. Ult 11 will be able to survive, and okay, he won't even be able to make it out at this point in time. Kaka's controlled him up with a nightmare. Old Chicken comes forward, and they surround Ake. The poor baby dies, and Alliance can make it. He goes to relocate at the top lane. They're gonna go for a second lane of Rex. Old Chicken's here. He tries to stop, but the melee Rex is already down. They've left the Roshan pit entirely. They can't stop this push whatsoever. Alliance will take a lane of Rex, but it cost them a couple buybacks there.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose Loda again, but still, this is the classic Alliance. They see the opportunity for that top lane because EHOME committed for that Roshan, but EHOME, they want to immediately make their way back there. They can't just give up that top lane of Rax without getting something in return for it. They waited so long for that moment, Cap. That black hole in a vacuum combination. S4 blinks into it at the exact same time he starts it. Couldn't have written that better as EHOME. They finally get the fight they're looking for, but still, Alliance maybe get the better trade out of it as they get a full set of Rax.
It's all going to come down to what EHOME can actually do with this Aegis. They're going to be able to take Roshan. Unfortunately, it's just Roshan number 2. Even though it's 38 minutes into the game, Roshans have been stalled pretty heavily by these two teams having a stalemate. So just the Aegis for Old 11.
That double bear though, so scary right now. Now you're starting to feel a lot of his farm. As he's got the Assault Curse too.
That Lotus Orb turnaround was actually one of the better setups there. It actually stalled up Lotus damage so heavily as he was disabled during a BKB.
And they needed Ake to be able to hit consistently throughout that fight, but EHOME just controlled up everybody so well. Ake's almost even got a Shivas.
They've actually got some items to work with. CTY is able to complete his Shivas. We have a 4-staff about to be complete, I believe, on Kaka, though we may hold on to buyback. Scratch that. Lanham, he's got 3K. You think about a refresher on him as well, just so you're not as cooldown dependent. Not to use double black holes, because that's probably never really going to happen, but to be just a little bit less cooldown dependent.
Maybe even a Lincoln's on him, but EHOME, they're going to go for this right now. They know that the buyback is down on Loda. He doesn't have Aegis or anything like that. Buyback isn't available for the IO either, and they're going to look for this trade. Maybe they just go straight down mid right now as they've got double bear, even Lotus Orbed up.
They're trying to stall up the top lane right now with Old Chick. Jesus, there goes Spirit Bear number 1. And top and bottom lane are both pushing in heavily enough that I think EHOME have to back out. Again, it comes down to the fact that Old Chicken simply does not have the damage to deal with these pushes by himself. The range racks is slowly but surely being chicked down by Necronomicons.
Yeah, and Bulldog, he knows that he doesn't have the buyback either, but he's desperately just trying to delay the game as much as he can. Alliance, you realize they're not even farming anymore. They're not risking anything in this game. They realize that one core pickoff probably just means EHOME going straight for the throne.
Yeah, they still need another 4 minutes until the buybacks are up for Loda, Bulldog, as well as EGM.
EHOME don't want to be stuck in a situation where they're pushing in, but Alliance go for the base. As they have no reason to trade right now. Like, they've got a lot of the advantages. They've got Aegis available on their Bear. All the buybacks were used on Alliance. It's just this Beastmaster and Tiny Wisp combination that is making things so annoying right now.
What do you think about the completed Mjolnir on Spirit Bear? He's just got that Maelstrom, but we'll probably see a full Mjolnir. I feel like that's a decent response to certain heroes like Batrider.
Yeah. A lot of attack speed too. Finally kind of makes Enchantress killable.
Yeah, that Enchantress definitely become a huge problem as he's not going to be able to fully commit for the Shivas just yet. He's holding on to buyback for now, but he's outputting an absurd amount of damage.
Oh, EHOME's
They
gonna commit to
don't
this.
have another Spirit Bear. They've got to be careful with this. 30 seconds till it's back up.
They want to be able to utilize this Aegis though, and the fact that Alliance don't have buyback.
They're going to jump in, actually going to go for the Spirit Bear, knowing that he doesn't have another one. They're going to be able to kill it. That is a lasso committed, and Laughton, the rest of the team desperately needs to back out at this point. If they don't have that Spirit Bear, they have like 10k net worth less, if not more.
The Aegis is sort of pointless.
Yeah. Old 11's walking around with just a
that
cloak.
courier just
Alright.
dies for almost no reason. That had the Mjolnir on it too for the Bear.
Okay.
They're gonna resummon it, but I think Alliance have just shown that they're willing to use everything just to take down the Spirit Bear. They know that's where the actual net worth lies, and that's a really cool way of working around the Aegis on the Lone Druid.
They'll get the Shivas now for Ake. He's got enough to buy it and have buyout.
He's gonna be the frontliner right now for Alliance.
Yeah.
He's the only hero right now that matters that has buyback.
Oh, complete whip there as Old Chicken jumps forward for the sleight of fist. This team can sit so far back. They've got the lasso back up, ready to go.
Yeah,
Jump
Old
in,
Chicken.
gets a bit of damage onto S4. That's Spirit Bear. Oh, Jesus, they're going to be able to pull it back again. Oh, no. Now the Shivas jumps forward. Old Chicken's trying to posture himself to actually be able to fight this one out, but they're going into a deep fight. And Lotus right in the middle of everything. Laughton, he doesn't have the opportunity to get off a good black hole. He's taken out by Ake. EHOME have lost 3 and are going to be able to potentially lose more. They want Old 11, and S4's on top of him, too. Old 11, it's no way out. This is going to be the Aegis. Burn through. EHOME, they'll drop 4 in this fight, and Alliance, they actually have the perfect opportunity to just go straight for the base.
Oh, they're gonna go for the relocate.
relocate in immediately. Admiral Bulldog will take out the range tracks in the mid lane. They're going to start buying out now. CTY trying to catch somebody, but Alliance is already backed out.
They committed way too hard to try to save Old 11's Bear right there. Like, again, Lahnam's sacrificing position to try to help his teammates out. They can't afford that to happen. The only reason why the Roshan fight works so well is because him and CTY were perfectly in tandem. They need that to succeed again, despite the Aegis.
This is going to be a funny position because of the way that Lone Druid was the last to die, and also at the Aegis, the discrepancy between him dying and his team dying is pretty big. And that means there's actually going to be this period of time where Alliance could still try and push a bottom lane fight and force a buyout from their Lone Druid.
Yeah, they've got all their buybacks available now too, on the heroes that need it. Like, Loda's gonna have his in just 26 short seconds. Almost nothing EHOME can do in that time span, but EHOME, they used a lot of buybacks there just to save whatever they could. The Ember Spirit is a little bit short of his. They can't afford to lose this Enigma again. They need Lahnam right now to come up huge.
Lahnam's got to do something big here. S4 is searching for his opportunity at the same time. Trying to get that initiation. They throw the Lotus Orb over to Old Chicken.
They needed to counter the Batrider's start. Same with Admiral Bulldog.
So Alliance not really committing for that push. Probably just going to wait out, what, the next Roshan?
I think so. Now Alliance are in the driver's seat again. There was a time period where things got really worrisome for them when they give up the Aegis, plus they were getting pushed down after they had used buybacks on all their cores, but now they've kind of reset. Things look a lot better for them. They're still up 2 racks. At one point, it looked like this was going to be one of the sickest comebacks ever as EHOME from 12,000 XP down, bring it back almost to 0, but again, it's back to 10k. Net worth is in a similar situation.
So both teams sitting back right now, farming to their heart's content. The advantage always does kind of lie in Alliance's camp, as EHOME are having a hard time maintaining the same kind of vision that a Beastmaster is with his Hawks.
Yeah, Alliance's ability to extend the game is so incredible. Just the fact that they don't have any buybacks available on their cores, they've given up the Aegis, and they're still able to be the team pressuring, kind of holding EHOME at bay. The decision to just constantly go for the bear instead of any of the core heroes, that's what really won them the fight. The owner is going to be finished now for the bear though, but I don't even think it's really damage that he lacks.
This is an MKB, right, for Loda because of the Radiance?
I think so. Okay. You could even go for crit.
Yeah.
Just go for the YOLO rapier if things go horribly wrong.
We'll see if that actually happens.
Everybody from EHOME gathered up. They've got a fair amount of farm, and Old Chicken, again, gonna kind of play the role of pushing out this top lane. So they don't have to commit too much, but...
They really need that data list completed on him because these super melee creeps, he takes so long to actually clear through them. And they might be able to get the pick off on him. Yep, they get the jump. Now the relocate in. Old Chicken is most definitely... Oh, no, he's not! S4 was actually trying to drag him away to get Ake more damage on the impeded shots, but that just meant they didn't have the opportunity to combo with the Avalanche.
That should have been a guaranteed kill. As Alliance, that's one of their first missteps.
What a blunder. As they could have been able to force out the buyback on Ember Spirit, and that would have been a huge advantage for them, knowingly then going into the Roshan pit and either getting agents and cheats for themselves or forcing EHOME to contest without a critical hero having buyback.
Yeah, and Alliance pushing the game later and later, but although we talked about Alliance being at a disadvantage as the game went later, Ake somehow has the most amount of farm I've seen in a really long time.
This is an Enchantress that's pretty off the charts. Moonshard next?
Yeah, he already has an AC, right?
Yeah.
On the Tiny. So it's almost certainly going to be the Moonshard after this. It looks like Bulldog. Go for Ags. Could go for an Octarine Core too, just to make the refresher cooldown really low.
Yeah, I'm kind of down with either option at this point.
Yeah.
The initiation range of Primal Roar being upped could actually be critical in an upcoming fight. As, yep, Loda is going to complete that MKB's almost got enough surplus gold.
Roshan going to be the next target for both teams, as EHOME played so well around the Roche pit last time. It's kind of their saving grace in this game, but... Again,
how do you set up Roshan fights if you're EHOME? What did they do last time that was so good?
I mean, it was the Lotus Orb into being able to group Alliance into that small window where they couldn't really get anything off to stop LANM or CTY. Like, fighting in that close vacuum helped so much for them. Alliance just kind of got a little bit sloppy there, for like half a second, and that's all that cost them. It took so long to get that black hole off.
And the reason I posed that was because, at least I'm looking at it as Alliance having the advantage for the Roshan fight, just because of Bat Rider.
Yeah, Bat Rider makes things incredibly easy for them. Like, if Alliance get the jump, starting with the Bat, if you can get someone on top of the cliff, it's a really strong initiation, because they've got one Force Staff available, and if they can split the Bane from the rest of the team, it makes things really awkward.
These Hogs constantly being sacrificed for a glimpse of vision of whatever EHOME are up to.
Yeah, this is so tense right now. But Alliance are the team willing to farm out, because they do have buyback on everybody available.
They complete out that data list on the Ember Spirit.
Yeah.
Does not have buybacks, so... Could be an opening for Alliance as Roshan is up now.
If you take this fight, if you're EHOME, you've got to be prepared to kind of lose the game if you lose your Embers. He doesn't have buyback. And Alliance, most of the heroes have it available. Like all of their heroes that need it anyways.
Teleport in, Boots of Travel from S4 will get him into this jungle a bit faster. I wouldn't be surprised if they just contented themselves with a another Spirit Bear kill.
Yeah, it'd be worth it right now.
Yeah. It's like denying the buyback. And sure enough, that Spirit Bear is going to go down. They can just kill it so easily with this Enchantress.
It's going to be Aegis and Cheese. I don't think there's any way that EHOME can test for this. Not without buyback available on the Ember. Everybody from Alliance has buyback. You lose one fight, like one little slip up, even if Old Chicken, you know, survives and then everybody from Alliance buybacks and kills him, it's going to be worth it for them as they just win the game right after. So they're just going to give this one up. Smart choice. Alliance knows that it's not going to be like the first time around where you saw the contest.
Yeah. Regen rune for EGM. He also has the cheese. He can either pass that one out, or if he's low, use it to heal up a tethered ally.
Yeah, and Alliance, they want to end this game. Gonna go for the Mega Creeps here. EHOME do have ways to deal with Mega Creeps, but you really don't want to be in that situation, because after that it's sort of do or die.
No split pushing, no games from Alliance here. They seem ready just to 5-man in with this Aegis and Cheese advantage.
Yeah, they're all set up. Don't want to stand in the Midnight Pulse, but
It's already bringing Loda down to half HP with the small stuns plus the chains. They're doing a really great job of actually pushing Alliance back. Ake's gotten some chip damage out though.
so you've got to be careful. The Midnight Pulse, it doesn't look that threatening, but the damage per second at this phase of the game, quite a lot.
When somebody's rocking 3k HP, over 5% per second is pretty bad. Oh, Lanham is going to be caught out here. They're going to try and save him. BKBs are pop, but he's going to buy out. Lanham has an opportunity, a second chance to be able to get a good black hole. Here's the Fiend Script in the background's holding in Loda. Lanham comes back in, ready to go with this blink black hole. Midnight Pulse laid down first. They're going to try and push back Alliance rather than fully engaging. As CTY did have to back up as that Darkseer. He actually even using healing cells to get himself up to max HP just in case Alliance kept pushing. But Alliance forced what they needed to. Took away a buyback.
And that's a pretty crucial target for them to go on. They know that Lanham is everything to EHOME right now.
Yeah.
That miracle black hole is everything that they look for. It was what enabled them to win and get that small glimmer of hope back into this game. And it's kind of their only way back into this game right now. If they get a 5-man black hole, even like a 4-man that doesn't get cancelled, would be ideal at this phase. But EHOME, they've got to back up, push out the lanes once again. Alliance have all the time in the world right now to work.
Yeah, they can wait another 30 seconds for this relocate to back up. They're going to have some illusions from Tiny pushing out the mid lane just for a small bit of extra pressure.
S4's got the lasso back up. I think that was the biggest thing they were waiting for. They know that the next initiation that they get on Lanham, that's going to lead to no buyback. CTY doesn't have the wall available either.
S4 sees an opportunity to grab Old 11. They do manage to get him out of this, but the pull is complete, and Old 11 is on the wrong side of this one. Will be beaten down by Loda. They have a buyback. Another one used. Alliance pretty happy with this as they manage to take the tier 3 tower as well. They're just slowly but surely limiting the resources that EHOME will have in that final defense.
Yeah, and Lanham tried to look for it, but his blink was on cooldown as he had to kind of hightail it out of there, but at some point, you gotta look for something, as Alliance are just gonna go for the slow siege. They've already taken down the tower. You don't have glyph available. EHOME have one clean shot at this.
Alliance, masters of finding an opening, are going to be able to patiently wait for another 2 to 3 minutes while that Aegis takes down. S4 will eventually be able to get that lasso. 10 more seconds. A minute and a half on that Aegis.
Alliance, they can sense their win. S4 is going to go for it one more time. You can find Lanham.
On the side, he gets Lanham. That's a big one. They can't afford to let him go down. The split buying him seconds. They'll stack him in. Lanham's almost
he's down.
Headshot. There it comes in. There's going to be no control out from EHOME, and it's all but assured. Oh, the Fiend's grip on the load, but he still has the Aegis as well. Old 11's fighting out with the Spirit Bear right now, but the Spirit Bear starts being targeted, sent back to base. Alliance will complete this, make it megas, and EHOME, the biggest uphill battle of your life, as they now have to deal with Alliance, who are so far ahead with Mega Creeps as well.
I mean, look at Machine Gun Ake just go to work in these team fights.
Peckering at Old Chicken time and time again, almost takes them out with that impeded shot. Old 11 comes in, but it's over. CTY, he calls it for his team. Alliance will move on in this best-of-1 elimination match. And EHOME, this one's for you, Bruno, are going EHOME.
Wow. Can't even believe you went there, but congratulations to Alliances. They're going to advance. Fans might be a little bit disappointed with the result, but EHOME, I mean, that Roche fight, that was pretty insane.
I mean, they managed to hold it for so long. We fully anticipated this to be a very close match, and it's sad to see one of these teams being taken out of the tournament, but that's the way it went.